All right, so the recording is started. I'm going to turn off me looking at the transcript so I don't have to read what I'm saying. But um, first and foremost, welcome to Microsoft Security Office Hours. Today we're going to talk about Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps. For those that were familiar, this is MCAS, Microsoft Cloud App Security, um, and the convergence into the Microsoft 365 Defender portal. We are being recorded, so if you do not wish to be recorded, please drop now. Um, and then you can always watch the recording later if that's what you want to do from our YouTube channel. So as it says here, yes, we are converging Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps into the Microsoft 365 Defender portal. And when you start to look at the scope of what we're doing, Microsoft has started going down this journey quite a few years ago, a couple of years back actually, to converge everything into a single portal. You'll actually notice that identities, if you have access to the public preview stuff, you'll actually see where the cloud app stuff is showing up there. And you'll also see where the identities piece is showing up in there as well. I don't think we're going to get 100% of Azure AD in there, if you will, because that's a beast to itself. But I think the security pieces around it, which do show up inside of Defender for Cloud Apps as well, are showing up there as well. So, we've already got the endpoints, Office, and identities already into the Converge portal, and now we're starting to head down the path of Cloud Apps. So just to Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, user research, as a CASB, we're breaking it up into two different pieces. So anything that really has to do with DLP and those types of pieces are going to show up inside of our compliance portal. They're not quite there yet, so the need to have the Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps portal is still going to be there, but all the security related stuff we're putting into security.microsoft.com, so the Microsoft 365 Defender portal. And we believe this makes sense because there's going to be certain people that are doing DLP, there's going to be certain people that are doing security stuff. Generally, there's a separation of duty. I understand in education that doesn't necessarily hold true to course because everybody wears many hats, but in a lot of organizations it does, and we're splitting it up from that perspective. We're looking at some of the persona scenario mappings, from a SOC perspective, from a CASB admin, and from a DLP perspective. So, the unified SOC experience inside of Microsoft 365 Defender. This is covering the security and compliance. From a CASB, we're merging this into Microsoft, merging all Microsoft Defender for Cloud App experiences into Microsoft 365 Defender, including the AppG stuff. And then from a compliance perspective, we're merging all this, as I had mentioned, into the compliance portal or the purview portal. Security admins, will be enabled to complete, suite and workload specific, as it says, in a single portal. Yay. You don't have to go to multiple different places. Today, there's some things you have to do there. So some of the app specific stuff, when you go to it, it will actually open up the Microsoft Defender for Cloud App portal. You don't necessarily have to go there to look for it yourself. It'll actually link to it and open it up, and it'll open up that new portal until we're converging that. It says all triage and investigations, including things like the advanced hunting features, will all be part of Microsoft 365 Defender as well. Again, portal convergence and scenarios. When you start to look at it again from a SOC perspective, Shadow IT is going to be part of the M365D portal. The information protection and the fundamentals are going to come separate as well. This is, the first piece is where, most people that are using this, they spend their day-to-day is 80% of the customers' page views comes in the first bucket of that. The other 20%, obviously information protection, file reports, and then, settings, and people aren't spending too much time in settings. Once they set it, they don't have to keep going back there and setting it up or changing those settings from time to time. So I'm going to go through, it says demo. In all honesty, I took screenshots just because I always seem to have bad experiences when I try and do demos in live, especially with our demo environment that we have. So I wanted to make sure that you guys are seeing, and we can talk about this as well, but we're going to go over the unified page, show you some of the differentiations between the security side, the shadow IT discovery, and take you through some of the advanced hunting, including the cloud app activities and so forth. So from here, we're going to, let me just switch screens because sorry, I'm trying to make it bigger for myself so I can actually see it. Hopefully everybody can see it just fine. But so when we start to look at the alerts, this is the alerts pane. If you're not familiar with that, you can see things like suspicious inbox manipulation rules. You'll also see malware detections. You'll see things from impossible travel scenarios, et cetera. We'll bring that up. So if we go ahead and open up suspicious mail manipulation rule, it's actually going to show you some things in there. For instance, it'll give you a brief description. It'll also show you things like, the IP address this came from. It's going to show you that the last seen was in the last 180 days. 180 days is as far back as we go. You're also going to see stuff in here for like the impossible travel scenario. And again, actually, let me go back here real quick because you'll notice that there's also stuff coming from AWS. So we actually have AWS connector in here. So you can see some of the alerts that are coming. And these are all Microsoft Defender for Cloud App alerts that are coming through that are being seen inside the Microsoft 365D portal. When we look at the impossible travel scenario, again, it's going to show you, what's happening. It's going to show you, the IP addresses. It's going to let you know, connected from 2 different countries. It's also going to show you, like I had mentioned, where the IP address was. This is the first time we're seeing this IP address in 180 days. It's also going to let you know this user is an administrator of Office 365. So right away, okay, it's an impossible travel scenario. It's just Sam. Sam's checking his email. Sam might have used a VPN. He might not. At some point, maybe I'll follow up with Sam. The other thing you'll notice too, from a, see where we got laser pointer up here, it's also going to give you the priority score for that user as well, like we normally would from a Defender for Cloud Apps. We'll show you their priority score so you can say, okay, he's a 900 and something. I really probably should go investigate that. But here it's going to let you know that this person is an administrator of Office 365. So that there alone should, say, hey, I need to pay more specific attention to it. It's also, as I mentioned, let you know what IP address they're coming from. When's the last time you've seen this IP address? So if you're seeing this IP address on a daily basis and you're expecting this IP address, it'll give you a better, heads up when you're doing that. And of course, you'll be able to manage this alert and then do other things with it. We'll show you in a second. The other thing it's going to do, it's going to show you MFA details and stuff like that. So you don't have to go to Azure Active Directory. We're actually pulling that forward and letting you know, hey, did they do MFA? Yes or no? So that you have an idea, should I trust this person? Did they do MFA, et cetera? And just some things like raw data, you'll actually be able to pull the raw data out of here and it'll show you all that and you can copy it to text and then give you the JSON of what's going on now. Oops, sorry, of inside of here as well. So you get a full view of what's going on from a raw data perspective. You'll also have the ability to manage the alert from in here. So you don't have to, go to Defender for Cloud Apps. You'll actually be able to do it inside of here. You'll be able to pick and, is it a true positive? Is it a false positive? Is somebody doing pen testing? That type of stuff. You can actually put that inside of here as well. Similar to the same things that you can do inside of Microsoft 365 Defender. This is actually going to be more than you can actually do with Defender for Cloud Apps today. One of the enhancements that you're getting out of the Converge portal experience. You can assign it to somebody as well. And what we did is we jumped from here to the user itself. So again, it's going to show you that. It's going to show you, they're logging in, what's happened, who the user is. We're going to show you more information about that user as well. I wish whoever did this be able to spell analytics correctly. They didn't do that there, but that's okay. It'll give you as much information as you can. You can actually, of course, go to the user page and open up even more information in there. We're also going to give you information about the IP address that they're going to. The good part about this is we're actually, if you wanted to add an indicator compromise per se, you can actually do that. So it'll add that directly into Defender for Endpoint, and you can block it and do other things from there as well. I'm going to jump back real quick and just look at the suspicious inbox manipulation rule. And again, so you can get some more information on it. Again, same thing we were showing before. You can actually look at one of the things that they did from the manipulation rule is we're actually doing the malware detection stuff. So again, inside of things like OneDrive, et cetera, we're going to show that from that perspective. But what we're doing is we're tying this to the information that you can normally get with Defender for Endpoint. So you're actually going to be able to open up things like the virus totals and look at the incident and see what's going on within your organization from there as well. So identities. So again, most of this stuff was down a little bit in the frame here, but you'll also see a new title called Assets and Identities. So we're going to pop up the identities for the user, just like if you were in MCAS, you would be able to go over there, hit the identities, and then filter them and list them based on priority and different things inside the organization. You can still do that from here. And if anybody has any questions, please, stop me, write them in chat, and I'm sure Sam or Scott will bring it to my attention. Shadow ID discovery. So again, we've connected that into the Microsoft 365 Defender. So you're going to be able to see what connected apps as part of your unified global search, discovery, OAuth apps, et cetera, all from there. And the good part about it is you'll be able to do searches and advanced hunts on this information as well. So from a cloud discovery, this is Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps. This is what it looks like today. If you go into the Microsoft 365 Defender portal, this is what it's going to look like there. You can see the side pane over here, and everything is already included inside of here already. The cloud discovery dashboard is in there as well. So all this stuff is in there. Like I'd mentioned, there's some stuff when you go into the discovered apps and you actually click on one of the discovered apps, that's not inside the portal. So if you were to click on one of these discovered apps, it would actually pop it out into Defender for Cloud App Security into that portal to show you more information about that specific app. It's part of the convergence. It'll be there. It's just not quite there yet. But we wanted to give everybody as much of a converged experience as we could and still work out the other pieces that are in there. You'll also notice a couple things that are showing up here. So for instance, you can see some of the tags that we're putting on these apps here, prior to purchasing, other different things. So you can actually tag those apps as well. You can actually look up the different apps. And again, like I said, if you were to click on any one of these, it would actually open it up into Defender for Cloud App. And again, this is just a couple screenshots so you can drill down deeper and you can see the different discovered apps that are in there. You can also see information about the IP address, similar to everything that you're seeing inside of Defender for Cloud Apps, but under a single portal experience. Same thing from the Cloud App Secure, Cloud App Score. We're going to show you that as well. And just see a little bit about our portal convergence principles. We wanted to give, the criteria was to have a unified experience. The method was to integrate into the unified experience, and examples of things that we're putting in there is the alert page and the alert queue. When you start look at the workload specific, standalone page and M365 Defender, which is similar. And today it's moving from a standalone page inside of Cloud App Security or Defender for Cloud Apps into the Shadow IT page pane that's inside of Microsoft 365 Defender. And we wanted to duplicate the experience as we, as much as we can. So, we wanted to give you the same type of experience that's inside of Microsoft 365 Defender. Today, if you go into MCAS, we've got a similar wrapper experience, but what we're doing is we're actually putting that into the settings inside of Defender, Microsoft 365 Defender portal. So you're not actually going to the MCAS portal to change that stuff. Just some where we are. So today, it's in private and public preview today. So anybody that actually has preview turned on, and again, my demo environment's no different than most of your environment today, so it's already showing up there. We're looking for a full out public preview when we hit Ignite in fall of this year. And just a message to you guys, we're doing this to save you more time, and not just time, not just flipping around between different portals, but you have a more efficient investigation. It also comes down to, as we're converging this stuff into a single portal, it means that a lot of this stuff is also being converged on the back end as well, so that it gives you more advanced hunting details. It gives you the ability for more things to show up inside of incidents from the gathered alerts and stuff like that. Gives you more data, signals, like I said, in advanced hunting and, new security cross workload value. We're going to start doing a gradual redirection. So, you'll at some point you'll be able to go ahead and flip a switch that says, redirect me automatically, similar to the way when Microsoft Defender for Endpoint showed up in there, and then we started doing the redirection from a mandated perspective, and of course a unified RBAC. So today, all the different products have their own specific RBAC. Once we get everything converged into a single portal, then we're going to do that unified RBAC control where you'll have more granular control. You'll be able to set up. Today we're adhering to your RBAC that you have in place, but that's going to change. Not that we're going to add permissions to somebody or anything like that. We're just going to have a new path moving forward for RBAC. And at that point, I am done with the presentation. I'm going to see if there's any, sorry. See if there's any questions or concerns or anything like that. Oh. Does anybody have any questions? All right, what I will do is I will turn off.
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
If you manage an alert in Microsoft 365 Defender, will that automatically, and it was tied to an investigation in the cloud app security, will it automatically clear that investigation as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, all the alerts and all the incidents are tied together, not just from a cloud app security perspective into Microsoft 365 Defender, but if you happen to be using a Sentinel, same thing applies to that. If you clear it and do it in Sentinel, it'll filter its way down to all the different pieces as well. I'm going to stop recording, and if anybody has any more